Something doesn't seem right here. Something definitely feels off, but I can't seem to place my finger on it.
I know what you mean. Something definitely feels different, but what? Okay, so to start off this massive list, at number 20 we have Oran High School Host Club. And yeah, I'm a fan of slice of life anime, get over it. I'd heard mixed reviews, some people saying that was really funny, some people saying it was too much romance, but I thought it was like a really good anime overall. Well, it is pretty funny. I mean, like, we have the main character who's voiced by Vic Mignogna. Like, the main group of characters, they have their own little club and they cater to girls of every type. That's kind of like the main point of the show, isn't like, okay, the group of characters we have are the leader, we have the smart type of character, we have our strong and silent character, then we have the loving brothers, the twins, who I find hilarious, and we also have the cute little Lolita character, Honey Senpai, who is actually the strongest physically of all of them, which is weird, but it's also quite funny in its own little way. And also we have we also have the other character, Haruhi, who's kind of the oddball of the group. There isn't any real main plot to this show, but for a slice of life anime, a comedy one of that, with romance, the ending is actually really good, as in, like, there's actually a bit of tension there. It gets built up. If you watch like the last couple of episodes, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, I'd say this anime is pretty good. If you're a fan of slice of life anime, if you like a bit of comedy and a little bit of romance, it's not as heavy romance as I thought it would be, but it's pretty good. Okay, so I might be cheating here, but technically I make the rules. So at number 19 we have two animes. We have This Ugly Yet Beautiful World, and we also have Midori Days. Now, while both animes are technically a bit of romance, This Ugly Yet Beautiful World is more action romance, while Midori Days is more kind of comedy romance. They're both pretty good and I really like both of them, so I just decided, fuck it, put them together. This'll work. So Midori Days is basically this, our main character Seiji is this apparently the world's biggest thug or something, and he can smash through anything with his right hand. Then there's this girl called Midori, and she wants to be with him so much that one day Seiji wakes up and his right hand is Midori, as in, this becomes a girl. I have no idea how to make sense. I think it's basically by the power of love and that kind of thing. It's just pretty hilarious kind of watching them go through their little situations, and it's kind of awkward because all of a sudden this thug is no longer a thug and his right hand's a girl. As for This Ugly Yet Beautiful World, the story isn't exactly much simpler. In fact, it's actually even more complicated. So there's this character, Takeru, and one day, after his life being kind of shit and never being able to figure out women, this light falls from the sky, passes through his head, and lands in a forest and turns into the girl of his dreams. Then something happens and he becomes her kind of protector, as these weird monsters start showing up trying to kill this girl, and then Takeru gets one of the most awesomest transformations in anime I have ever seen. It's more kind of action because, well, Takeru can transform into this thing. I have no idea how he does it. Only you can, like, you know, you transform when a monster attacks, when some kind of weird mega-sized serpent from the prehistoric age or something comes. I really don't know how half of this shit even makes sense. And Hikari is apparently some sort of god or something. There's so much fucking, I don't even know how half this shit makes sense. I mean, like, who the hell made the... Oh, that's who made it. Never mind. Oh, this is a good emotional one. Angel Beats. Wait a second. Angel Beats is another romance anime. Huh, that's interesting. I watch a lot more romance than I think I do. Huh. Don't worry, this is the last one, by the way. I promise you that one. So, Angel Beats is kind of an odd one because I've actually heard that a lot of people have been turned away by this because apparently the story is about a group of people fighting God, basically. They raise up an army or something and they go to fight God and then something like that anyway. You get the idea. But in truth, the actual anime itself is actually, it's only about fighting God for like maybe the first 3 episodes, give or take. And after that, the whole idea of like fighting God is completely dropped. It's barely even a part of the story anymore. It gets a lot more complicated than that. As far as characters go, there's not too many memorable ones, I want to say. Apart from like Angel and maybe TK, he's cool. And there's that guy who carries around an axe or something. I don't know, like no one says anything about that. And there's also, well, I actually haven't watched the anime in a while, so I kind of have forgotten the names. Sorry, my bad. Yes, there is kind of romance, but that's kind of more near the end. And what makes this anime really good is that there are, I want to say, 3 really emotional scenes in it. The first one happens, and then I can't really say what happens to a certain character, but it happens, and then you are just completely blown away. The music that plays, and then the aftermath is just really moving. And then 2 more even greater things happen, and it's just, this anime is so emotionally crippling. As in, it makes you really want to cry. And I know how girly that sounds, but I don't give a shit. The last episode, I was nearly in tears. I was completely shattered by how moving this anime was at the ending. It is a great show. I find that a really good factor actually to put an anime on my list. The fact that an anime can make you cry. A cartoon, a drawing on a paper, moved me so emotionally that I actually wanted to cry. That is doing your job really well. That's a good show if I've ever seen it. Okay, number 17 was actually an anime I had been meaning to watch for a very long while, and I was a bit it was a bit of a daunting challenge because, I mean, this is a long anime. This is Soul Eater. Yeah, we're going there. Okay, this one's kind of awkward to talk about because in terms of plot, it's actually not very engaging. It's like, okay, the plot at best is alright about stopping the Kishin, but where this anime truly shines is probably the music and the characters. Except for the plot. The plot is shit. The ending sucks ass, as far as I'm concerned. My first impressions of Soul Eater. 1, the music is awesome. 2, it's very heavy character based. So I'm going to basically be talking about some of the main characters and which basically drives this anime, if anything. Let's start with Soul. Okay, so he's basically the I'm so cool, yeah, look how badass I am, and all that crack. At first he started off as kind of my favorite character, but as the show progressed on, I actually started to hate Soul because there really wasn't much else to him apart from, oh, I have a demon inside my head who's trying to take my soul. A demon in my head who's trying to take my soul from within. Okay, I would prefer maybe we elaborate a bit more on that. As in, like, okay, is Soul actually like a demon himself or what? And then we have our most infamous character, Death the Kid. He is a massive fan favorite. And you know, I would consider myself a bit, I kind of consider myself a bit of a Death the Kid fan. I mean, yes, his whole everything has to be symmetrical thing is kind of funny, I'll give it that. Like in the first episode where he was in the Egyptian pyramids, at first I was thinking, wait, hold on a second, you're actually going to go home in the middle of a fight because you think a picture in your house is not symmetrically perfect, it's not perfectly aligned or some crap like that. At first I thought that was kind of stupid. Then leaving the 2 girls to fight like the massive herd of zombies by themselves. And he later during the episode, he nearly gets himself killed for doing this. But overall, after he went ballistic, I just found it hilarious. But by the time near the end of the episode where he was fighting two mechanical robot clown things, I don't know, you tell me, I found it to be just more annoying, more stupid. Like that time when he was chasing Krona, I can't remember his name, her name, its name, whatever. And then he lets Krona get away because the sun and the clouds were perfectly symmetrical. Now, while that was kind of cool, how that could just happen, you let the bad guy get away just because, wow, a beautiful picture. Must let the bad guy get away. He'll probably kill everyone, but fuck it, that is amazing. I find Death the Kid to be probably the most annoying out of the bunch. And now as for Black Star, okay, when I first saw Black Star, he was so cocky, so full of himself, such a fucking idiot. I mean, okay, he's a ninja assassin, that is fucking cool. But during his first mission, what's he do? He jumps into the middle room, full of mafia guys, and declares that I am the mighty Black Star. Everyone pulls out the guns and starts shooting at him. He's so cocky, so full of himself, so obnoxious, has probably the most annoying laugh I've ever heard in anime. And yet, he's probably my favourite Soul Eater character. Okay, at first I hated him. As the story went on, I started to grow more and more closer to him. I was rooting for this character, I was supporting this character, his drive, his ambitions, and he went for them so strong. He figured out well, most characters basically they just get better and they get stronger, of course, or along the way. Soul Eater, not Soul. Black Star actually, he figures out what's wrong with him and he strives to become stronger, and he does become stronger. Yes, he does get beaten every now and again, but that's because he's only human. He learns from his mistakes and he gets stronger, and he has an awesome duel with a character I really wish they had elaborated more on, Mifune. He's another cool character. Awesome sword guy, I wish we had seen a bit more of him. Another notable character is probably Medusa. As cruel and evil as she may be, I think Medusa might actually be one of my new favourite villains in anime. Okay, one thing, I'll leave you with this. She uses snakes. I love snakes. Right, number 16 now. This is a cute one. This is Papa no Oko Kitkai. What do you want from me? Here it is. This is the anime. In English it means, listen to me girls, I'm your father. To any of the Usagi Drop fans in the audience, and I know you're out there, this is one I would definitely recommend because while it is different, it is similar in its own little way. Okay, so our main character Yuta is going over to his older sister's house to basically babysit his three nieces. His older sister and her new husband are going off on their honeymoon, and Yuta, a college student, is basically saying, here, go off on your honeymoon, I'll mind the girls. So anyway, Yuta gets on with the little girls fairly well, but late at night, while he's falling asleep in front of the couch, there's a news report, a special bulletin, news, whatever you call it, saying that a plane has crashed and that everyone in the plane has basically been killed or badly injured. And of course, you fear the worst when you start thinking, oh no, don't tell me who got fucking killed. Okay, so yes, you can kind of see where this one actually is going. The three girls lose their parents, and all the other family relationships come to the funeral, and they're basically saying, okay, we're going to split these three girls up. They're going to live in houses here, there, and there. They're going to split up. And Yuta comes along, and then he's like, whoa, no, you can't split them up. They love each other. They're family. And then we get a quick flashback to show that when Yuta's parents died, his sister took him in and said, I'm going to raise him. You're not going to break up what's left of my family. And as a dying wish to his older sister, Yuta takes in the three girls and chooses to raise them. He gets 2 part-time jobs. He's working all night doing a nighttime thing. But you just got to admire his passion. I mean, like, he is living in a single person apartment, and now he has to try and fit 3 other girls in there, But luckily, Yuta has a number of friends, and they help him out with college assignments and all that kind of crap. They help him out with, I don't know, looking after the kids every so often. This anime, it's such a heartwarming show that I love it so much. It's really cute, I want to say, for lack of a better term. And it's worth a watch anyway. Number 15 is Penny Pony Dash. I'm having a bit of trouble now because I, honest to God, don't know where to start with this one. I will give it that this is probably one of the more funnier animes I've ever seen, as in like Penny Boy Dash, some say it's like another anime, Azumanga Daioh on acid. It's really fucking hilarious, unlike some other animes I've seen. Okay, how to describe the show? The show is basically set in a high school where the teacher is an 11-year-old girl with a serious attitude problem. They are all being watched by a group of aliens who are studying them. There is a cat in a soda machine who says he is God. And the characters themselves are more or less just as fucking weird. Now I say weird, but I also mean kind of cliche, kind of. I mean, we have the character who's like a total spaz, and also she has a cowlick on top of her head that, if touched, will react fiercely and heat up into like a volcano kind of thing. It gets really hot. We also have your smart girl, your bookworm, the quiet girl. All your cliche characters are all thrown in there. It's just a whole group of fucking nutjobs. Also, their class rep happens to be some kind of, I think she's some sort of entity or something, because she's able to like not reverse time, but she's able to do things regular people shouldn't be able to do. Like in one episode, you see her create some sort of shadow mud monster Hydra type thing that nearly kills everyone. In another episode, she nearly destroyed the entire universe with a box. Now, Witchblade is an interesting one because I could be called a massive pervert for liking this anime. Why? Because Misane, the main character, is probably one of the most well-known MILFs of the anime community. Now, Witchblade is an early anime for me, and recently I bought it on DVD, so I went back and watched the show to see, did it still hold up? Is it still a good show? And yes, I think it is still awesome. It's an action anime based around a woman who is in possession of this thing called the Witchblade. Now, the Witchblade, some consider it to be either the almighty weapon of God, or some say it's the devil's hand. Because while this may be the most powerful weapon in the world, and you could control the world with this weapon, it's a double, okay, yeah, well, it is actually kind of like a sword. It's like a double-edged sword, because the wearer will always die. You can't take it off, and eventually the power becomes so great, like basically it just keeps building up and building up, and eventually over the course of time you will die. You'll kind of disintegrate after whatever you want to call it. The power of the Witchblade, it becomes too great, and eventually it swallows its victims. That's a good way that I can describe it. Okay, all that aside, it's time for me to talk about what you really want to hear. Because I've never seen such a perfect combination between sexy and violent and have it look as awesome as it does in this anime. Because as violent as the show can be during its action scenes, every single movement, every punch, every slash of a sword, whatever, it kind of fighting gives all the Witchblade wearers and all the clone blade that'll be explained in the anime if you watch it, they get kind of a sexual pleasure from fighting, as in, like, the tougher the opponent, the greater the feeling, the joy, the passion. Also, I might need to mention this because Misane's transformation is probably one of the most awesomest transformations I've ever seen in my life. And hold on a second, is that a blade coming out of her? Wow. That would, maybe you could work around, I'm sure someone will figure out how to do that. This next one, it's astonishing to me, because this show, I actually used to watch this show all the time when I was a kid, when I was younger. It was years and years ago, but I could never for the life of me remember what it was called. I had always vaguely remembered it, something about some red guy and fighting, and it was cards or something. But luckily I came across a guy in college, and he knew what it was called, and he told me, so I went back and rewatched the entire series of this awesome action series from my childhood known as Shinzo. Probably one of the more badass shows of my childhood, because this was basically heavy metal, guys fighting, the elements such as like fire, water and earth, and there was also Steve fucking Blum. Also there's this weird thing that when you die, you turn into a card. I guess it's to tone down the violence, because this is technically a kid's show and you can't have people basically stabbing each other with spears and then bleeding everywhere or collapsing and dying. Boo! You scared? Yeah, I didn't think so anyway. It's just, horror just isn't really the biggest theme of anime. I mean, okay, yeah, it's a cartoon. It's all hand-drawn. I mean, what can be so scary about that? Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to drink this here glass of water. Refreshing. What the hell is that noise?
What the hell was that?
Scassa, what is it? I missed it. What happened? Wow, seriously? I have never seen this kind of psychological horror in my life. This one is Higurashi no Noko Koro ni. Now something I really like about this anime is that it's all light-hearted fun. I mean, it's just a group of average people doing their own little thing, because what happens is you get led into a false sense of security, and when you get led into that security, the show turns around and goes fucking psychopath on your ass, because when the show gets violent, it gets really fucking violent. Some people would even say the show is sick. It is really, really violent. I mean, I can't stress that word enough at this point. I mean, this anime got to #1 on my top 5 bloodiest animes list. That was a while ago I did that. Sorry it took so long. But what might make this show like even that much scarier is the fact that these are just ordinary people. And the feats that they are capable of doing are just frightening. You could say frightening actually, yeah. Because, well, you see one character kill everyone, and she's just a regular girl in high school, and she managed to murder like half the village. Then you see one guy who seems like the nervous type kills his aunt. Yeah, baseball bat to the head, you know, as you do. Another thing that really adds to this horror aspect of this anime is the music. Whether it gets creepier, it gets slower, or you simply hear the cicadas chirping or whatever noise they make. I'm not sure what kind of a buzzing noise it is or something, they're little insects. Everything just draws you closer and closer to your seat, and if you get too close, bang! Shit hits the fan, and fuck it, this is a really actually good show. I gotta watch this again. It's time for another heartwarming tale. This is Usagi Drop. Our main character, Daikichi, is a 30-year-old bachelor who attends his grandfather's funeral. Now, while at the funeral, he notices a little girl walking around, and he's like, don't recognize her. Whose daughter is she again? Can't remember her. What is it? But as the funeral continues, it's brought up that this little 7-year-old girl is technically Daikichi's aunt, even though he's more than 4 times her age. But there's a problem, because the grandfather's dead. Now the child has no parents because, well, the mother fucked off, don't know where she went, don't care. And now all the family relations are like, okay, where are we going to put her? Is she going to stay with this family, or is she going to stay with your family? Are we just throwing her at home? What will we do with her? And then Daikichi ends up getting so pissed off at how stubborn his family relationships are. So he goes aside and is like, hey, do you want to come live with me? And Rin takes to him pretty easily. Why? Because apparently he looks a lot like his grandfather. So it's kind of like Daikichi is nearly like Rin's dad, even though there's a bit of a gap between them. Guys, I really like this anime. It made me go, oh, it's so fucking cute. It's so heartwarming. I really enjoyed this anime. Another thing to note actually about Usagi Drop is the animation. The animation is very nice, as in like, sometimes it looks like you're looking at a water oil painting, and then it comes to life as the characters start moving around, and before you even know it, it feels like you're just watching like a regular anime, but it's like you watch art turn into moving art. That's pretty cool. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, which should be up soon. Exactly, who are you? I think I'm seeing double right now. What's in that water?